archive their weekly worship services on the web? Have you thought about streaming your ministry but just don't know how? Here at Real Life Radio, we can help your church or other ministry stream to a worldwide audience with video or audio, as well as provide instant archiving, all at an affordable price that's lower than anyone in the area. There's also no limit on the size of your audience or the number of archives you have. Take your ministry worldwide. Find out more by visiting our website at wvyn.org.
Real Life Radio, 90.9 The Vine.
90.9 The Vine, in conjunction with AreaSports.net, proudly presents The Sports Couch. The Sports Couch is the area's only locally produced weekly sports show that is live on FM radio and also streamed live on both of our websites at AreaSports.net and WVYN.org. We will be on the couch this morning. Let's find out. The Sports Couch is on the air right now. And good morning once again, sports fans. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Couch here on this 10th day of December. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio, along with Danny Anselment. Of course, we're also live video streaming to those people watching live on AreaSports.net. Danny, it's turned off wintertime, hasn't it?
Yes, it has, Randy, and I don't like it. I'm
My
ready for
goodness
spring.
sakes. We need to find a hot gym to be at somewhere tonight for another
I imagine we'll be
basketball
one,
game.
won't we?
I think we will be. It's the opening day of the Conrad Island Holiday Tournament as games begin there around 12 noon today, and we'll have a couple of those games for you later on this afternoon, the 3 o'clock game and the 4:30 game. You saw a good one last night, too, over at Albion as Edwards County took on Hamilton County Foxes. We'll talk to both of those coaches on the show this morning, along with a lot of other guests. So we'll hear from Coach Varner and also Coach Gerlach. And also on the show today, we'll talk to Doug Creel of the Mt Vernon Rams. We'll have Scott McElravy on from the Fairfield Mules. They had a wild one last night against Eldorado. And speaking of Eldorado, we're going to kind of preview the Eldorado Holiday Tournament, a tournament that's near and dear to your heart, and one that you got to love. I mean, it's just a great atmosphere.
I was just looking here at my Facebook post, and 2 years ago I had the tournament bracket. 2 years ago, Owensboro, Kentucky was the 1 seed, Massac County the 2, and Harrisburg the 3, and Harrisburg won that tournament as a 3 seed that year.
Yeah. I've got a shot up on the screen right now, a wide shot that Gene Kolak took at the Eldorado Holiday Tournament a few years ago. Look at that. I mean, that atmosphere is just unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. For people that's never been there, you need to pack up your bags and head down there. Yeah. And this year's field, I was talking to Coach Goodley yesterday, and, right now, going into last night's game, you had Edwards County undefeated, Eldorado undefeated, Carmi undefeated, Heron was undefeated, and he said, boy, I'm glad we're not ranking them today because he said it might be a tussle. He said, and last night, Carmi, they're still undefeated, and Edwards County still undefeated. Heron took a loss. Eldorado took a loss.
Right.
So, I think that seeding, we'll find out for sure, but sometime later in the week, I think. But
it's going to be fun.
He thought it was going to be one of the strongest overall fields that they've had in quite some time. And I think you'll hear the excitement and enthusiasm in his voice just on the anticipation of it, because he said, when I look at this thing, I see 1 or 2 games that might get out of hand, but he said the rest of them looks like you better bring your A game or you may go home and be watching.
That's going to be fun. And, again, that kicks off right after Christmas, and we'll preview that Eldorado Holiday Tournament this morning with Greg Goodley. Also, we're going to have Brian Gamber, head coach of the Woodlawn Cardinals, on the show with us. They got a win last night up at Oden. So, good show. We got 6 different guests on with us, and we'll get the first one on here in just a moment. But, Danny, you've got a big scoreboard from last night.
Yeah, looking at South 7 Conference, Marion did defeat Mt Vernon 62-59 in overtime. What I consider a big upset, Carbondale defeats Centralia last night 59-51. And Altoff, they look like they may have come back to the pack a little bit. They're playing in some pretty tight games right now. They've got a couple losses, but they defeat Cahokia 86-76 last night. From the Black Diamond, the Fairfield Mules get a big win at Eldorado 41-40. Edwards County defeats Hamilton County 52-44, and that game was actually a little closer than that final indicates. Hamilton County fouled quite a bit in the last minute trying to get the ball back. Carmi, Edwards County moves to 6-0 on the season. Carmi, they move to 6-0. They defeat Johnson City 56-37. Cesar gets a big win at Chester, 70-64. Vienna over ZR, 64-40. Down in the River, Benton wins on a last-second shot. They defeat Heron, 54-52. Murfreesboro, 50. Massac County, 38. Nashville, 77. Anna Jonesboro, 46. Harrisburg, 53. West Frankfort, 42. Carterville, 57. DuQuoin, 50. And kind of an oddity, Randy, all the teams in that river-to-river east side last night, all the road teams won.
That is interesting.
It's very hard to steal a game on the road, and all three east side river teams won on the road last night.
How about that? All right. And you got some other scores we can go through here in just a moment, but first let's get our first guest on this morning. That's Coach Doug Creel of the Mount Vernon Rams. You heard Danny say they lost in overtime last night down at Marion, 62-59. And good morning, Doug. How are you?
Good morning, guys.
Good to have you on the Sports Couch. Tough loss last night on the road at Marion. You lose it in overtime, 62-59. That was really a seesaw battle last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. We had opportunities to win that game, and I would have liked for our guys to have been rewarded for their effort, how hard they played, and we had a couple guys really step up and play well. So it would have been nice to get a W, but it didn't happen.
Well,
I thought we got to go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think your team's come a long way though since the last time you played Marion down at the Pyramid Tournament.
Yeah, we're that's the positive. We're getting better, and I think we're going to get better as the year goes on. Our record's not going to look good, but I felt like we've made a lot of gains. We still got a long way to go. I mentioned before that I looked out there. We had 3 sophomores and a freshman playing and a junior, so we had several guys step up and play well. I thought O'Shea stepped up and played really well, and Weston Brockhouse hit some big shots for us. Zach Williams has been very solid for us all year, but he played well, and we had Terry Hans Blaylock, sophomore, played very well. He gives us some varsity quickness, and Amir Span, even though Amir's really green, but I can say that about every guy we got. But he gave us some good minutes in the first half. So there's a lot of positives. Long way to go, though. Our league is very, very good. The fact that Cahokia only got beat 9 at Altoff, and Goodwin had to go get about 40-some points, makes me feel a little bit better about last weekend playing Cahokia because they're pretty good. So, but things don't get easier. They make it easier Tuesday night, but after that, it gets tough, and we just have to. I have to do a better job of preparing our guys and keep adding things. And I think some of our young guys are figuring out to be successful. You got to be organized. You can't just go play. And because we're not talented enough just to go play. So I think some of that's coming along.
Yeah, you mentioned Blaylock, him and Span. As I was watching the JV game last week against Cahokia and seeing how well those guys played, of course, at the JV level, and the quickness that they have and athleticism, I thought, it's only a matter of time before they probably start getting some more varsity minutes and try to help you at that varsity level. And it looks like you worked them into the game a little bit more last night, and I think over time they're going to grow and mature, and they are going to help you.
Oh, well, absolutely. They have to continue to work hard, pay attention to detail, and take coaching. And sometimes, like all these young guys, they got to fight outside influences and just keep grinding, because I have a feeling that there's going to be some nights a guy's going to play well, and the next night he may not play well. And part of that's youth and inexperience. But I was very disappointed for our guys that we came up short. We went on the road in the South 7, and darn near got us a win. A break here or there may have made a difference. Their freshman kid that moved in from Heron, the Connor kid, made some big baskets in overtime that hurt us, but there are some positives to take away from that. And I get to thinking of every little thing that we haven't talked about or I haven't dealt with, and sometimes when you got guys that can go make plays like Fitzgerald's last year, you don't have to pay as much attention to detail or because he can go get something. We don't really have that this year, so I have to become a better coach and do a better job of coaching them.
Well, Coach, you made a good comment there about how tough it is to win on the road. That seems to be all over basketball-wise. They always say you got to protect home turf, and to almost get one down there last night, what a victory that could have been for you guys.
Well, it would have been a good victory, and basically, they lost their point guard from last year, but they got all their kids back, and they've got some people. So I feel like we've made some strides, but the bottom line is you got to win. It's not a moral victory. Our kids were very disappointed, but we're going to practice here in about an hour and a half, and we're going to go back to working on some fundamentals and trying. But I did see a lot of improvement from our guys, and I just think that, like I said, I got to do a better job of coaching, and they just got to keep their chins up and keep working.
Oh yeah, it's all about fight and struggle. This lesson they're learning right here on the basketball court right now is going to take them a long way in life, because as well as I do, it's a struggle and a fight out here in the real world every day.
Well, you're right about that, and if you look at the big picture, that's what it's about anyway, and because we're going to have a lot of adversity, we're not probably going to have a good record because of our league and our schedule and how young and we are. But one thing that I can teach them is, hey, get in that ditch every day, keep digging. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you. Keep a good attitude, and keep every day. Hey, put in a good day's work, and if they can do those things, they'll be successful.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. You mentioned the toughness of the league, the South 7 Conference last night. Carbondale beats Centralia 59-51 and Althoff over Cahokia 86-76. So really all the games were pretty close last night. That was a big win for the Terriers last night over the Orphans, wasn't it?
Yeah, because, I know Centralia's down a little bit from what they were last year, but, they doubled the score on Marion last week. So that is a huge win. Carbondale's very athletic. They'll be a problem for us, but, we got Lovejoy on Tuesday. There will be a JV game. If we play well, we should beat them. I'm hoping. It'd be nice to get a win, regardless of who it is. And then Waterloo basically has their whole team back from last year. I got to looking in the scorebook from last year. We scored 76 points against Waterloo and only returning 3 of those points. And they're returning like 50-some. So we got our work cut out for us this week. We want to play hard, take care of business Tuesday night, and see what we can do with Carbondale and Waterloo.
Yep. All right, Doug. Well, thanks so much for your time this morning. Appreciate it. Always fun to talk basketball with you. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll talk to you next time, all right?
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. All righty. Bye-bye. Head coach Doug Creel of Mount Vernon Rams. Again, they lost a tough one last night on the road in South 7 Conference as they get beat at Marion by a score of 62-59. That was in overtime. And Mount Vernon had the final possession of the game, but just couldn't get a shot off.
Well, Randy, sometimes that's just the struggles of youth.
Mm-hmm.
And what they're learning right now, if they'll continue to work hard, it's going to make the Mount Vernon Rams better. When victories are hard to come by, you just hate to see those that were right in your grasp get away, because they're going to be very hard to come by.
Well, and as he said there, and he said last week too, there's several times where you look up and you got one senior and you got 4 sophomores on the floor, maybe one junior occasionally. And last night he actually worked a freshman into the game. Amir Span's out there. I mean, he's about as green as he can be, but he's very, very athletic, and he's got a lot of upside, a lot of promise. But he's a freshman.
There's some things you can't teach, but there is also that learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, when freshmen and sophomores play senior, if I'm a senior and I can't school a freshman or a sophomore, I probably ought to go find me a seat down on the bench.
Yep, a lot of truth to that. There is a lot of truth to that. Well, stick around. When we come back, we're going to talk to Coach Scott McElravy of the Fairfield Mules about a wild game that they had last night against the Eldorado Eagles. A 1-point game. We'll find out more about it coming up next on the Sports Couch. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9, The Vine, and AreaSports.net.
Real Life Radio is grateful for the underwriting support of Taylor Flooring in Mt Vernon. Located at 328 Main Street in Mt Vernon, Taylor Flooring specializes in the sales, service, and installation of top brands such as Mohawk, Southwind, and LW Mountain. 100% locally owned and operated by Mark and Sherry Taylor, Taylor Flooring in Mt Vernon has your flooring needs covered. Their phone number is 315-6004.
You've heard the old saying, practice makes perfect. Well, there's actually a lot of truth to that, and you can get one-on-one instruction in baseball, softball, basketball, as well as speed and agility drills at the Sports Zone in Fairfield. The Sports Zone has been in business for quite some time now and has helped many area boy and girl athletes excel in their sport of choice. Lessons and practice times are available at convenient times that meet your schedule. The Sports Zone is located on Delaware Street in Fairfield, and we appreciate their support.
Underwriting on the Vine is provided by B&C Bicycle Fitness in Mt Vernon. B&C Bicycle Fitness specializes in bikes for the beginning rider to the high-end racer and can equip you with a comfortable bike to enjoy a healthy, active lifestyle with family and friends. B&C Bicycle Fitness is a full-service bicycle shop and is located at 410 South 27th Street in Mt Vernon. Their phone number is 816-4077. B&C Bicycle Fitness in Mt Vernon, where the adventure begins.
Welcome back to the Sports Couch. You're live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. Last night in the Black Diamond Conference, it was Cessna-Valliere getting a win over Chester 70-67. Carmi remained undefeated. They beat Johnson City 56-37. Edwards County remained undefeated, beating Hamilton County 52-44. Vienna got a win over Ziegler-Royalton 64-40. And a wild one last night between the Fairfield Mules and the Eldorado Eagles, Danny, as the Mules beat the Eagles 41-40. I would like to have seen that game. How about you?
Sounds like there was a heck of a game. I'm not even sure where that was played at.
Well, let's find out. We've got Coach Scott McElravy on the phone with us right now. Good morning, Scott. How are you?
Good morning, guys.
You got any fingernails left last night after that nail biter?
No fingernails or hair.
Boy, I'm telling you what. Yeah, was that down at Eldorado or was that at the Mule Barn last night?
That was at Eldorado.
All right.
What a big win.
Tough place to get a win there. They're good. Good team.
That is a big win on the road, especially as well as they've been playing lately.
Yeah, there's, really big team. A lot of size, a lot of experience coming back from last year. We got lucky, got up a little, and we were up, a couple buckets most of the game. Had a chance to extend it a little bit at the end and missed some one-and-ones, and they had a couple of kids hit threes. They only had 3 threes all night, but they hit a couple late in the fourth quarter, and they had the ball with 4.5 seconds to go on the far end, and we got a steal to preserve the win. So it was a really, really, really good game.
Boy, a big defensive play there at the end then. That's great.
Yeah, I think our defense is ahead of our offense right now, which I didn't think would be the case because we've got some kids that can shoot, but I'm super proud of the kids' effort defensively. Both games this week we gave Johnson City 28 points, and last night, Eldorado, high-octane offense, they had 40. So defense right now is carrying us.
Mm-hmm. Well, later on in the show, Scott, we're going to be talking with Greg Goodley from Eldorado about the Eldorado Holiday Tournament. And the way things are shaping up right now, man, it's going to be crazy to see what the pairings end up being because you got so many teams playing well right now, including your Mules.
Yeah, the Capital Classic that we're at, I think there's 3 teams up there that would be the definite number 1 down here. Marshall, Mount Carmel, and T-Town are all state ranked, and we got a chance to play Marshall. In saying that, though, I think we have a lot of good teams at Eldorado this year. Our conference is notably better. Just looking at the records and whatnot, the river teams are always good. Heron's back in this year. They're a big school, over 700 kids. So I think the parity, talking to some of the Eldorado coaches last night, usually that first round you get some 30-point games. I don't think there's going to be near as many, and I think there could be some seeded teams that get beat, in the first and second round. It's going to be a great tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it will be. Scott, I talked to Greg yesterday about it a little bit, and he thought this was one of the strongest fields from top to bottom that they've had in quite some time down there, and he's really excited and enthused about the upcoming tournament.
Yeah, I agree with him. Like I said, I don't think there's any Mount Carmels or Marshalls, and if you have a chance to watch Mount Carmel this year, you need to. They're saying that's one of the best teams they may have ever had. I mean, they've got a 6'8" kid going to SEMO, 6'7" kid that's being recruited by Eastern, and big-name schools in football and basketball. So they're good. But just a ton of solid teams down there. And I'm proud to say the BDC's stronger this year. Top to bottom, I think all the teams are improved. Carmine lost a lot last year, but they're really surprising some teams this year. It's got some good kids back that are playing really well right now. So it's going to be fun. We love going down there. We do.
Yeah, looking at the conference overall last night, Edwards County defeats Hamilton County 52-44. That game there was a little closer throughout. It was a 2-point game at halftime. 4 to 6 points seems to be the biggest lead in that game. Carmi defeats Johnson City. Chester and ZR had a good game. So, there's a lot of parity in basketball overall. Well, looking at the River to River Conference, the east side, all three teams won on the road. When's the last time that would have happened?
Well, I don't know. I know Benton's really good this year. They've got a chance possibly to win their side.
They defeated Heron last night on a last-second shot, 54-52.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I knew it was close. I didn't know it was
Heron led most of the game, I think, and just kind of let it get away.
I know Heron, their record, I'm not for sure exactly what it is, but I know they played.
They were undefeated going into last night's game.
So they won the Pyramid Tournament.
Yes.
Collinsville and Mount Vernon. Yeah, they'll be the number one seed, I would say. But you know what? That's great. Last year we were super disappointed. We went 0-2 for the first time ever down there, and the kids that's one of the things that they put on the board to start the year. They wanted to be playing on championship night, which when we talk about that in the last three games, so that's fifth, third, or first place game,
right.
And that's one of our goals. Whether we get there or not, that doesn't define our season, but we're going to have to play well leading into that, and we're on the right track, I think, right now.
Looking at your schedule, what do you got coming up this week?
Well, no risks for the weary. We got the opportunity to take our JV to the Conrad Allen tournament to fill out that 8-team tourney. So at 12 o'clock today, the bus leaves, and we go play Crab Orchard with our JV team. Then we come back at 5, and our freshman team plays North City. JV is at 6:15, and then the varsity is at 7:30. And then we've got the Foxes at Hamilton County Tuesday, and our JV team is in the Wayne City tournament, let's see, Monday, Wednesday, and next Saturday. So I'm going to be at a game. That's not counting all the 8th grade Colts games, too, that I'll be at next week. It's going to be a really, really busy week.
I think basketball's kicking in the full swing. I was talking to my wife this morning. She said, have you looked at the schedule for this week? And I said, yeah, just put down Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday for basketball. I said, that pretty well takes care of most of the week.
Well, we, usually have Wednesdays off, but with our JV over at Wayne City on Wednesday, I told my wife, I said, I love you. I'll see you next Sunday.
Yeah.
So we're going to be really busy, but the kids are excited about it. It's the last week of school, full week of school for us. So by the end of next week, they'll have a chance to relax a little bit and do all that. The seating for Eldorado is this coming Wednesday, which is always a fun time. They do a great job putting on that tournament. So it'll be fun to hear what Greg has to say about it.
Yeah, we're going to visit with him at 9:45 here this morning, and like I said, you can just hear the excitement in his voice. We had a nice little conversation there yesterday. But going back to this opportunity for your JV team, the Hamilton County JV team had the same opportunity there at Thanksgiving. They went over and played at Christopher. They were needing a team, so they went over there and played. They didn't win any ball games. They were in several ball games, but just to give those young kids an opportunity, with all these shootouts and tournaments and these things, these JV teams kind of get lost in the shuffle sometimes, Coach. They don't get to play a lot of games without getting an opportunity like this.
Yeah, you're right. We actually got out of the Benton shootout. They do a great job there, Coach Wyman and everything, but we wanted to get another home game because, last year we played, I think it was either 6 or 7 home games. So, now we've got our schedule balanced at 8 and 8, and that gives our JV kids another game to play, like you say. I don't know how many wins we'll play because I think there's some good 1A. I think most of the teams are 1A. 2A, Red Hill, I think, got bumped up this year. But there's some very solid teams over there, probably led by Wayne City, I would say. They've got a nice team. But, Weber's got a nice team. Crab's always very competitive. Red Hill can beat some people. So they may take it on the chin. Who knows? But we really like some of the young kids that we have coming. We've got a lot of competition for spots. So it'll be neat to see them play.
Talk a little bit about that Fairfield Colts team. I hear nothing but ravings about that group.
Yeah, speaking of young kids coming, there you go. Yeah.
We like a lot of our classes here in a row, and that's one of them. They're 13-0 right now. We play, I think, Flora next week and New Hope. So we have a chance to be 15-0 going over. Coach did a really good job, Morris, of we go play Belleville Central after the turn of the year, and then we spend the night and play Breeze Central the next day. I think it's like the January 6th, 7th, or 7th, 8th range there. So they've been a lot of fun to watch. Hopefully they can keep it going. It's like somebody said last night, it's fun to be a mule right now, and a colt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they answered some adversity last week, too, in that Wayne City tournament because, they were down to Woodlawn by 2 points at the end of 3 quarters, but they bounced back, and I think they outscored them like 24-13 in that 4th quarter to win. So, they were pushed, they had their backs against the wall, and they responded.
Yeah, it's different being a parent, too. I don't know as if I like setting up in the stands as much at times because you want to tell them what to do, your kid, but you can't. You got to just let them play and have fun with it. But Woodlawn's got a nice team, too. And we've been playing those kids since 5th grade. And luckily we beat them every time, but they've always been good games.
Yeah.
The England twins are nice players, and they've got a couple other kids that are good, too. So hopefully we can just keep it going. It makes my life busy, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, hey,
And I won't be remiss to say that 2016, one of my favorite guys at Eldorado, Mr. Loudy, that does the tickle the twine behind the line, one of the announcers down there. We finally got to talk about ending the curse last night too. Okay. He's a big Cub fan like me, and so everything now for the rest of 2016 is gravy.
You could win all morning without having to bring that subject up.
Yeah, hey, I won't mention it again. You got to take it when you can.
Well, as long as you brought up the Cubs, so what do you think about Dexter Fowler signing with the Cardinals?
That's gonna be tough seeing him in red, but he's a great guy, and as a Cardinal fan, I would be happy to have him. He's a great teammate.
Yeah.
So I will cheer for one Cardinal next year.
it just makes the rivalry that much more interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. You can't. That's the thing. You can't keep them all. In high school, we only get to keep the kids for 4 years, no matter what. Mm-hmm. And in the pros, sometimes you just run out of money, and you got to decide who you want to keep and who you want to not. So
right.
That'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah, no, it really will be. Well, hey, you enjoy the weekend. I appreciate you joining us this morning. Again, congratulations on the big win last night on the road at Eldorado, and we'll talk to you.
We'll see you Tuesday night.
Yeah. All righty.
Hey, thank you, guys. We'll see you.
Be there, be square.
All right.
Okay.
All right, see you. Bye-bye. That is Coach Scott McElravy of the Fairfield Mules, and boy, huge win on the road last night down at Duff Kingston, winning at 41-40. Not an easy place to play, and definitely not easy to beat the home team down there, is it?
Oh no, it's a great place to play, but it's tough to win at the land of the Eagles down there. So they'll be coming to Hamilton County on Tuesday night. We'll have that game live on foxesfans.net.
All right. Well, and another game that you witnessed live last night, Danny, and you webcast live last night on foxesfans.net was the battle between Edwards County and Hamilton County, as the Lions remain undefeated as they won last night over Hamilton County 52-44. We're going to talk to Coach Russ Gerlach when we come back on the other side of 9 o'clock as the Sports Couch continues right here. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
This is your home for best Christian music.
WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting at 105.5.
A service of Real Life Radio Foundation.
The best Christian music. 90.9 The Vine.
Crawford Plumbing LLC in Woodlawn is licensed, bonded, insured, and ready to serve your household and business plumbing needs. From leaky faucets to complete plumbing systems and repair, Crawford Plumbing in Woodlawn is a full-service plumbing company. They can be reached at 618-242-3360. Crawford Plumbing in Woodlawn is a proud underwriting sponsor of Real Life Radio.
Real Life Radio is thankful for the financial partnership we have with Greenwald & Sons Construction in Wayne City and in Mount Vernon. They specialize in residential and commercial construction and remodeling. They have a long list of satisfied customers spanning over 38 years. Whether it's a church addition, business expansion, or new home construction, Greenwald & Sons Construction of Wayne City and Mount Vernon are experts that you can depend on. Their phone number is 895-2044, and we thank them for their support of local Christian radio.
Monthly financial support of local Christian radio is provided by Home Source Warehouse in Mount Vernon. Located 4 miles north of Mount Vernon on Route 37, Home Source Warehouse offers a warehouse full of quality furniture and mattresses with legendary service. Open Thursday and Friday 10 to 6, Saturday 10 to 3. You can find them on Facebook, and their website is homesourcewarehouse.net. Their phone number is 204-5515. Home Source Warehouse, where style is affordable.
Welcome back to the Sports Couch, live on a Saturday morning here at 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. We got live video streaming right now. You can watch the show on AreaSports.net, or you can also listen online at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio, along with Danny Anselment. Danny, a game that you were at last night covering on foxesfans.net, Edwards County, who just joined the Black Diamond Conference, already leaving their mark in the conference as they get a conference win last night over the Hamilton County Foxes 52-44, and we've got Coach Russ Gerlach on the phone with us right now.
Well, that was a good game up there, Randy. Last night it was very competitive. Both teams had a little stretch of some runs there, but I'll tell you, Russ has got some young kids that can play up there. Don't count that Edwards County team out. Look for them to make a run, and it'll be interesting to see what the seeding gods have in store for them down at Eldorado.
It sure will.
If he can take care of business, he's probably got a game on Tuesday night. He's going to head into that meeting undefeated, and that should result in a good draw for him down there.
Well, let's find out. Russ is on the phone with us now. No pressure to the undefeated Lions. No pressure, Russ, no pressure. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's always good to be undefeated. It's a lot better than the alternative.
It certainly is, and you got to be really happy with the way your team's playing last night. And again, you answered adversity last night. You got behind a little bit against Hamilton County, but you were able to answer and picked up the 8-point win. So tell us about it.
Well, you're right. In the first half, I think we got up by 8. I think the score was something like 20-12, and then at halftime it was 20-19, so they obviously cut right back, or 21-19, so they cut right back into it. And, we were able to pull a little away in the third, and then actually they came back and took the lead. But like you said, we answered the call and had a couple big shots and got us back up, and we're able to keep that 5 to 8 to 9 point margin the rest of the way. And like you said, I'm pretty happy with the way we're playing. We can always play better. We still got some things we got to fix. We couldn't throw it in the ocean from the free throw line last night. Not too happy about that, but otherwise pretty happy with the way we're playing.
Well, your team has some shooters, Russ. You have your inside game. You're very well dimensioned. You got a couple kids that come in off the bench and gave you some good minutes there last night. I thought you got a pretty well-rounded team up there.
Well, you're right. I feel like we've got some good players at all the positions. We've got 3 guys that start that I feel like are pretty good three-point shooters. And then 3 of those guys are good at posting up as well. We've got Martin Schmittler, he only scored 2 points last night, but I think he led us in rebounds with over 10. So we've got different guys at different spots to do their jobs. And, Jared Clumby was big off the bench last night with 6 points in the second half. I think Nathaniel had a little foul trouble, and, that was probably the best game Jared's played all year. Really proud of him. And like you said, Tiger and Cade Rivers comes off the bench. They give us some minutes. And, really just I'm proud of all of them. They've all been very accepting of their roles. I was thinking last night after the game, I think every one of our starters and most of our bench, I think they were the leading scorer, or maybe one of the top 2 scorers in their junior high teams. And then as it goes on, a lot of times that doesn't stick with you, and someone else has to take over that leading scorer role, and some kids accept it and some kids don't. And I feel like all of our kids have accepted their roles, and I think that's why we're playing so well right now.
Your team seems to be pretty athletic, Russ. You got some kids that can jump. I really thought I was back in Dahlgren. A Snicker name and a young boy named Justin Wallace. There's a boy at Dahlgren. His name's Justin Wallace, and I'm thinking, what's Hamilton County moved to Edwards County all at once, or what's going on here?
Well, I don't know. I think the Wallace family is Edwards County people for a long time, but you're right. The Snicker boy, his dad grew up in McLeansboro. So, yeah, we do have a little bit of a ties there. And I think I've told you before, I coached with Andy Johnson for a while at my first job. So, I feel like I'm kind of thrown in there a little bit too. So, we do have some ties, but I'm definitely glad they're here.
Yeah, looking at what you got, who do you have on Tuesday night?
We got to go to Lawrenceville.
Going to Lawrenceville, so you're stepping out of the conference. You're going to go up and play Lawrenceville, and then they got the seedings meeting for the Eldorado Holiday Tournament. Talk a little bit about that and the excitement you're feeling for headed down to that.
Oh, well, we're excited. As I said before, we've been excited since we got the chance to get in it last year. This is my first seed meeting. I don't know really what to expect. I hear there's pretty good food at it, so I'm excited about that. But
you honestly, and Randy. Randy's wanting to know if he could go with you.
Well, they said they could bring some extra people, but I don't know if they mentioned the media. But I really don't know what to expect on the meeting. I've been told everybody's very polite and kind, and everybody gets along, and everybody's like a normal seed meeting. And if you brag on your team too much, they all understand that everybody wants to get the best seed they can. I think like everybody else in the tournament, we kind of want to avoid those really early games of the day, but at the same time, there's not much you can do about it. You got to play 4 games to get a trophy, and we're hoping to get that done.
Well, looking at that tournament a little bit, you got you guys sitting there undefeated. Carmine's undefeated. Fairfield put a blemish on Eldorado, and Benton put one on Heron last night. So, I talked with Greg Goodley yesterday afternoon a little bit about this upcoming tournament, and he thought it's going to be one of the strongest fields they've had from top to bottom in quite some time.
Well, as I say, even though we beat Hamilton County last night, I think all the schools from our part of the conference are going to be strong. I know Anna Jonesboro played some of them guys down there at that Goreville tournament. They're pretty good. Then, like you said, you still got Harrisburg. You still got Benton. West Frankfort, I think they played Benton close the other night. They're in it.
Harrisburg defeated West Frankfort last night 53-42, so that's 2 teams that'll make the trek over there.
Yep. And then I think Massac County's still in it. And, you know, they've had a good program lately. I don't know what they're doing this year.
Massac's down a little bit. Joe's probably got one of the weaker teams he's had in a while. He had a couple kids transfer.
Well, that'll happen. But then I think there's still that team from Kentucky that was good last year. You know, we still haven't even talked about. I know Gallatin's pretty good, obviously pretty good this year, and you know, I don't know much about Hardin, and I think Galatia's still in it. I think the NCOE. I don't know much about some of them. I'm gonna try to watch NCOE and Fairfield tonight a little bit. But you know, you're right. I think there's at least 10 teams right now that we just mentioned that are pretty darn good teams.
Yeah,
and it's going to be hard to. It's going to be hard to compete for those trophies, but that's definitely our goal, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, I think you've got the team that can go down there and make some racket. I just see a pretty strong team there at Edwards County, and the thing that's got to excite you is the youth around that team.
Absolutely. You know, we start 2 seniors, and we bring one off the bench, and you know, we're playing 5 guys that'll be back next year, and you know, and obviously 4 of them are sophomores, so we'll have them for 2 years. So yeah, we're excited about that. You know, sometimes we still make youthful mistakes, and heck, even so our veterans still make, you know, mistakes as well. But you know, for the most part, we don't get too down on ourselves or down on each other, and you know, all those things that, you know, when you hear people talk about what's important to be a team and all those things, I feel like right now we do all those things, and you know, we're happy with what we're doing, and you know, we're going to get back to work a little bit this morning and start talking about Lawrenceville, and hopefully have our focus there and be ready for next week.
I thought the crowd was a very good crowd on hand there last night, and I also liked the format of having the freshmen, the JV, and the varsity with these Black Diamond contests. I thought that's a great move right there.
Well, I know some people were doing it last year, and when we got ready to get in the conference, I tried to jump on that as hard as I could and started calling coaches around, and you know, we've got 4, everybody but Johnson City. We're doing it in the conference home and away. We actually did it with Flora this week, and we're going to do it with Lawrenceville next week. We really like it. It does make for a later night. There's no doubt about that. But, you know, we figure we're going 2 nights a week instead of 4 for some of these kids. It gives us some more practice time instead of those kids having 4 games and only 1 practice a week. You know, we do pay that first group of officials for 2 games, but we feel like that's probably still cheaper than paying them to come back on a Thursday. Less travel, you know, expense on the buses and such. So we feel like there's a lot of things besides just the fact that it's all one night, and you know, the kids get to play in front of a bigger crowd. But there's you know, with the way schools are right now, there's financial savings that are there, and you know, that's important as well with the way all the schools in Illinois are. So we like it. It's went well the first 2 nights, and hopefully it'll keep going that way.
Yeah, and, you know, one of the things I thought you missed on there was it gives those kids at that freshman level the experience, because there was a big crowd. I got there at 5:15, and the game had just got started, but there was a real nice crowd on hand, probably a bigger crowd than they've ever played before in a freshman game. Yeah. And just to expose those kids to that opportunity, but not only that, to expose the parents to those young kids. And I got introduced to some kids last night now that I'll watch for the next 4 years and see as they continue to grow. Well, you know, like we noticed this ourselves on Tuesday night. We had a regular fresh soft game Monday with Newton. And, you know, I'm not trying to be a smart aleck by saying this, but basically our crowd was parents and grandparents, which is kind of typical for a fresh soft game. It's parents and grandparents. So then we come back on Tuesday night. We're playing against Flora starting like at 5:15 like we did. And the crowd size is at least triple, and it's not just all grandparents and parents. It's, you know, other people in the community who are like, hey, I can see 3 games in one night for the same price. And, you know, it's a lot bigger crowd. There's more noise. And, you know, like you said, it's a good experience building, and that way they can get used to that at a little bit younger age, because, you know, a lot of times you have a freshman kid who plays in those fresh soft games and doesn't have really the crowd noise. It's not that big a deal. Then for whatever reason, he's pressed into varsity action as a sophomore, and now it's just a huge change in atmosphere and everything. Well, hopefully this gets them exposed to it a little bit sooner and gets them a little more prepared as they get older.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us this morning. And again, congratulations on the win last night, Russ. Keep it going. And we'll see how it goes in the seed meeting next week for the Eldorado Holiday Tournament. Should be very, very interesting.
Well, we're hoping for the best. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a good weekend. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye. That is Russ Gerlach, head coach of the Edwards County Lions. Again, they're still undefeated on the season after beating Hamilton County last night, 52-44. Yeah, he'll have he'll have some keen interest tonight in that game between Fairfield and NCOE. That's going to be played at the Mule Barn tonight.
Oh, yeah. North City,
Yeah.
they're going to shoot the three.
Mm-hmm.
You got to guard the three.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to push, they're going to run, and they're going to crank up threes. They're either going to live by it or they're going to die by it, and right now they're dying by it. They're 1-6, I think, on the season.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's – I guess everybody's got their own style.
Yep.
But when you're giving up 75 points a game and scoring 70 points a game, that don't transpire to wins.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about the Woodlawn Cardinals. They got a road win last night at the Midland Trail Conference as they beat Odin. We will talk to head coach Brian Gamber of the Cardinals coming up next on the Sports Couch. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Most of us tend to take our printed materials for granted, but it's hard to imagine life today without print. Printing is communicating. Whether it's promotional, operational, or administrative, we're here to meet your printing needs. Peacock Print and Marketing has been serving the people in Southern Illinois since 1977. We're located at 1112 Jordan Street in Mount Vernon. Our phone number is 242-3157. Our website is peacockprinting.com. We believe in honoring God by serving our clients through print and marketing and helping them reach their full potential.
Fairfield Memorial Hospital Urgent Care now provides convenient treatment for minor illnesses and conditions on a walk-in basis 7 days a week in the Medical Arts Complex, Suite E. This is Physician Assistant James Hopper, and on behalf of the Urgent Care team, we are here for you when your family needs urgent medical attention. Urgent Care will allow you a more affordable and efficient alternative to an emergency room visit. We are open Monday through Friday, 8 until 8, and Saturday and Sunday, 8 until 5, in the Fairfield Memorial Hospital Medical Arts Complex, Suite E.
Music and ministry on the Vine is provided by Tony Wilt State Farm Insurance Agency in Mount Vernon. Tony Wilt State Farm Insurance Agency specializes in providing your life, health, auto, and home insurance, as well as complete financial services. They are located at 4121 South Water Tower Place in Mount Vernon. Their phone number is 242-1421, and their website is tonywilt.com. We are grateful for their underwriting support.
Welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. We've got live video streaming right now on AreaSports.net and live audio streaming on WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio, joined by Danny Anselment. Last night in the Midland Trail Conference, Grayville got a win over Sandoval 67-49, and the Woodlawn Cardinals went on the road and got a win at Odin against the Odin Eagles by a score of 55-32. And joining us on the phone right now is head coach of the Woodlawn Cardinals. That's Brian Gamber. Good morning, Brian. How are you?
Hey, good. Good morning, guys. How are you guys?
Doing well, and congratulations on that road win last night in the Midland Trail Conference. Your first road win in the conference as head coach. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, it does. Anytime you go on the road and win, you got to feel good about it. Last night early, we came on. We kind of struggled in the first quarter, struggled to get going a little bit. But then second quarter, we figured it out a little bit. They were playing 1-3-1. We hit some shots, and that opened up some things. And defensively, in the first half, we weren't where we need to be. But in the second half, we limited them to 11 points total in the third and fourth quarter combined. And that's where it needs to be. And I thought we did a much better job in the second half, guarding and executing. And of course, we hit some shots, and anytime you hit shots, that makes you look a little better. Yeah, it was a good win for us, and then we got to turn around and go to Christopher tonight.
Yeah.
So turn around in a big game tonight.
Yeah, your schedule to start the season is tough, Brian, because, everything you're playing is on the road. You start off on the road at that Kaskaskin tournament at Carlisle. You played some tough competition over there.
Yeah.
You go on the road last night at Odin. Now you're going to go on the road tonight at Christopher. And so, yeah, you have yet to play a home game, and that's just a tough way to start the season, isn't it?
It is. And like you said, our first tournament, that's a great tournament. We got 4 really, really quality games,
Mm-hmm.
And played pretty well and went 1-3. You know, I mean, those things can happen, and then, you know, going on the road last night, and then a big test for us tonight, and then we go on the road again Tuesday, and then finally next Friday we have our first home game. But our 2 home games for Christmas are Waltonville and Weber, who are both very, very good. So a lot of early challenges, but, you know, we've talked about this a lot. It's good for us. It challenges us. We have to play at a high level and execute at a high level. And it really shows, you know, what you need to work on early in the year.
Mm-hmm.
We told our guys our third game of the year against Greenville was an overtime 1-point win.
Right.
That we had to do so many things well and play in an environment with a lot of pressure and a lot of things on the line. And some teams may go an entire year and never have to do that. So for us to have that experience, that's going to allow us to grow and develop and learn, you know, how to play in big games like that where there's a lot of pressure. And come postseason time, that's huge, you know, because you don't want your first experience to be a regional championship and your kids kind of panic because they haven't been in that situation. So it's difficult early, and we talk to our guys about that, but they like it. You know, that's why we do it. That's why we schedule who we schedule. It's going to make us better. We've got a lot of younger kids, and so they're learning and getting better. And you know, that's what we want, and that's going to allow us to get to where we want to be towards the end of the year.
Yeah, you were definitely in the frying pan over there at that Carlisle tournament playing that good competition. Like you say, you pulled out that 1-point win in overtime against Greenville. You lost to Pinckneyville. Of course, there's no shame in losing to Pinckneyville, and you also lost to the host Carlisle Indians, and no shame in that either, and then lost that tough fifth-place game to Hillsboro 47-42. But, you know, I look at your team this year, and with all the guys that you lost from graduation, and you're coming in and you're putting in your system and that sort of thing, but you got a lot of youth, like you say, a lot of young guys. There's a lot of parallels, it seems, between the Woodlawn Cardinals and the Mount Vernon Rams. I mean, Coach Creel's sitting there, you know, with a really young team and a lot of inexperience, and you got much the same on your Woodlawn team this year.
We do. And, you know, we've talked about even our upperclassmen outside of Blake Wallerman, even our seniors and our juniors that were playing, really didn't have a lot of varsity experience coming into the year. So even though they're an upperclassman, they're still learning a lot of things on the fly just about what it takes to play and compete at the varsity level. And then, you know, we got a freshman and a couple of sophomores that are playing big minutes for us. That's a big jump for them. You know, anytime you get in a varsity game, and especially, you know, the first 4 games that we had, those teams are as good as anybody. And so those kids, you know, every day in practice is important for them, just to learn some things and pick up on, you know, how to guard and run an offense and to understand, you know, how hard and how big of a challenge it is every single night. And they're doing a really good job. You know, they like to play. They're good kids. They listen. They've obviously, even the kids that didn't have much experience, you know, they've had 2 or 3 or 4 years of you know, practice to where, you know, they've learned how to guard, and every day in practice are going against Ross Owens or Brett Harris or Austin Ballard. So that has kind of prepared them to kind of step in. And like I said, other than the first game against Pinckneyville, where I thought we were a little nervous and guys were trying to figure some things out, I really felt like we played really, really hard and at times really, really well in our first tournament. Still came out of there 1-3. But from a coach standpoint, you know, I felt good about where we were at just because of how hard we were playing, how hard we were competing, executing, and giving ourselves a chance to win really all of those games other than the Pinckneyville one. So, yeah, like, you know, but very similar to Mount Vernon in that I think our guys are going to continue to progress, continue to get better, more comfortable, you know, in the varsity games and understanding, you know, how hard they need to play and where they need to go and how to execute, and just all the things that go into varsity games. And I just think that, you know, towards the end of the year, we're going to be so much better than where we are right now. And that's what you want. I mean, that's the whole goal, is to be playing your best come postseason time. And I really feel like we're definitely going to be in that category.
Well, Coach, won't be long. You'll be going down to that Sesser Christmas tournament, correct?
We are, yes.
That should be a great tournament down there. Once again, that's always a pretty balanced field, and the Woodlawn Cardinals have had some great success down there. So I'm sure there's a lot of teams gunning for you guys down there.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. That's a fun tournament. Our guys like playing in it. It's close to home, and like you said, a lot of really good teams. I think this year the field is going to be extremely tough and difficult. Obviously, we have had success there in the past couple of years. I think our guys like playing in it. But there's no doubt. I mean, we've talked about it. We get everybody's best game, and that's a good thing. The success that we've had, it kind of puts a target on you and a bullseye, and we're just trying to learn and teach our younger kids and our other guys that it's just part of it. I mean, you're going to have to understand that everybody wants to beat Woodlawn, and that's good. That's a good thing. You want to play people at their best. That's how you learn to get better. And the success tournament's going to be no different. I mean, there's a lot of teams that can definitely win that thing. It's going to be a big challenge for us. But, again, that's a fun time. It's a fun time to be a player. A lot of game action instead of practice. I think our guys like that. And anytime you have good competition, which is what they have, and they do a really good job of running that tournament. And, like I said, it's a fun 4 days, and obviously we're hoping to continue the success we've had. But we understand that there'll be a lot of teams that, feel like they got a chance to win it this year, and we do too. So,
well, as you look at the game tonight, going down to Christopher, what are some of the keys to the game tonight for your Woodlawn Cardinals? What do you got to do to compete and win tonight against those Bearcats?
Yeah, they've got some really good pieces offensively. We've had some good battles with them the last couple of years. The Young and Pedigo, those two are really good players. They can score it, they can shoot it. They're quick and athletic. Obviously, the Curry kid has come on for them. He's got good size and handles it pretty well. And then I think they're playing a freshman. And then they got the Shimp kid. He's a good athlete. And we're just going to have to limit their guys. Pedigo and Young. They're good players and they're going to get theirs, but we got to make sure and try to keep them in check. Excuse me. And then offensively, we're just going to have to continue to execute. Regardless of if they're in man or zone, we're going to have to get a quality shot every trip. And really, when you go on the road, especially tonight in this atmosphere, you just got to stick together. We talked to our guys. They're going to hit some shots. They're going to get on a run. Most teams do that at home and kind of feed off that crowd and energy. And we just got to maintain. It's a long game and withstand runs and withstand when they start hitting shots. And we've talked to our guys, anytime you go on the road and anytime you want to beat somebody really good, it starts with guarding. I mean, we're going to have to challenge all their shots and run Pedigo off the three-point line and really do a number blocking out and rebounding. They've got a little size on us and cause us some matchup problems. But, again, our guys already, we've had 5 tough games, and so it's a short turnaround, but they're going to be ready to play. I mean, anytime we'll let Christopher play, the kids are going to be ready. It's going to be a fun atmosphere, and I know both teams are going to compete. And Christopher, Eric Stallman, he does such a good job with them. His guys are going to be prepared, and it should be a fun night. That's what we told them last night. It'll be a fun game to play in as a player and as a former player. These are the games that you kind of miss because it's a big game. It'll be a good crowd. And so we're excited about it.
Yeah, your Woodlawn crowd, they travel very, very well. And, of course, Christopher will have a huge crowd there tonight. So you're absolutely right. The atmosphere should be electric down there tonight for that game.
Yeah, absolutely. We always have a good following and a lot of people that care and want to support the kids. And, same thing with Christopher. So I told him last night, I think a lot of times, and I remember Coach Gill talking about it when I was playing Mount Vernon, that I told him, don't take it for granted. There's not many high schools anymore that will play in front of a crowd in an atmosphere like we're going to get to tonight. And so, just enjoy it. There's a lot of high schools that, they don't have big crowds. They never get to play in something like this where it's 2 really good teams going at it. So enjoy the moment. Have fun. Basketball's supposed to be fun, and I think our guys like to compete. And anytime you have kids that play hard and compete, it's fun. It's fun to coach. I'm sure Christopher's kids are excited about tonight. And we're going to go at them. We're going to give them everything we have, and I would expect the same from them, and we'll see what happens afterwards. But it should be a good game, and definitely be a fun one to play.
All right. Well, Brian, best of luck tonight as you go down to Christopher. Should be fun for you and the players and the fans and everybody. And appreciate your time this morning on the Sports Couch. Again, congratulations on the road win last night at Odin. And we'll talk to you down the line, okay?
All right. Sounds good. Thanks a lot for having me on.
All right. Have a good weekend. All right. Good luck.
All right. You too.
Bye-bye. That is Brian Gamber, head coach of the Woodlawn Cardinals. Yeah, that'll be a good atmosphere tonight down there at Christopher, won't it?
Absolutely. It'll be a packed house, I'm sure.
My goodness sakes. That's a good rivalry and kind of a precursor, too, for that the fact they may see each other in a tournament again down at Cesar later on during the holiday tournament. Again, a tough start to the season for Woodlawn with their schedule like it is, playing all these tough teams and playing on the road. But as he alluded to there, Danny, that's only going to make you better down the road. And the whole goal is to try to, improve and build that team till, you eventually crescendo there at postseason time.
Yeah, but it's also kind of a fine line. You don't want to break their spirit, and you don't want losing to become a way of life. So, that's kind of a fine line that you walk right there, and it's important for them to get a victory there last night.
Yeah. All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk to the head coach of the Hamilton County Foxes, Jeremy Varner. We'll talk about that wild one last night over at Albion as they fell to the Edwards County Lions. We'll do that coming up next on the Sports Couch.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Prominent Technologies in McLeansboro is an underwriting supporter of The Vine. Chad May and Prominent Technologies specialize in computer and laptop repair, IT system upgrades, virus protection software, digital security camera installation, and on-location consulting. Prominent Technologies are computer problem solvers, and they have a long list of satisfied customers. Their phone number is 643-7114, and they are located just north of the square in McLeansboro.
Amy's Sweet Gallery in downtown Fairfield serves top-of-the-line cookies, cupcakes, cakes, rolls, and more delicious home-baked goodies for your family, church, business, wedding, holidays, birthdays, you name it. Amy's Sweet Gallery uses third-generation secret family recipes with a hint of love in every bite. Amy's Sweet Gallery is located at 108 East Main in Fairfield, and their phone number is 842-3754, and their website is amysweetgallery.com. A scoop, a pinch, a dash, and a drop. Homemade goodness with just one stop. Amy's Sweet Gallery in Fairfield.
Hamilton County Flooring on the south side of the square in McLeansboro offers a full line of flooring, cabinets, and countertops for your home or business. Countertops or showers are available in granite, quartz, corian, custom marble, or ceramic tile. Their showroom includes a complete line of flooring available in ceramic tile, cork, bamboo, hardwood, vinyl, laminate, and carpeting, including name brands such as Armstrong, Bruce, Marazzi, Mulligan, Shaw, and Tarkett. We thank Hamilton County Flooring in McLeansboro for their support. Hey, welcome back to the Sports Couch. You're live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. We've got live video streaming right now at AreaSports.net, and, of course, live audio streaming at WBYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio, along with Danny Anselment. Danny covered the game last night on FoxesFans.net live over at Albion as the Hamilton County Foxes did battle last night with the Edwards County Lions. Fell a little bit short last night by a score of 52-44. Very competitive game, though. And let's talk to head coach Jeremy Varner of the Foxes. He's on the phone with us right now. Good morning, Jeremy.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Tough loss last night on the road, but you faced a really, really good team last night. It remains undefeated, 52-44, and despite the loss, I'm sure there's a lot of positives you can take out of the game last night.
Yeah, I mean that was a very good team. They have a lot of length. They've got a lot of kids that can shoot the ball, and they've got some returning players from a regional championship team. And first game, I know they were excited to play, and undefeated right now, like you said, and we knew it was going to be tough going in, but we were ready, we were confident, we knew we had a chance to compete, and we took the lead. I believe it was 24-23 or 23-22. They messed the scoreboard up. I can't really remember at that time, but we took the lead early in the third quarter, and then we had 4 straight turnovers, and then it turned into a 6-point deficit. And we were fighting back the rest of the way, but guys never quit and continued to play hard. And I'm glad to have Edwards County in. That's a great addition to the Black Diamond East, and it's just making this side even more competitive and make us better in the long run.
Well, there was a lot of other activity went on there last night. Something new that some of the Black Diamond teams are doing this year. Played a freshman game. Foxes led that game late there, and a young man from Edwards County hit a 3 to give them a 34-32 victory. Then in the JV game, the Foxes come out and pretty well controlled that game from start to finish and come away with a nice victory there, Jeremy.
Yeah, it was really 3 good games to watch. I mean, that last 3 that the freshman hit, that was a deep 3 he hit too, and it was kind of less than 5 seconds left. I can't remember exactly what it was, but not very much time. And like you said, we led most of the game, and then our JV came out and just played really well. I mean, they play hard and they shoot the ball well, and really looking forward to seeing how they improve defensively and strength and develop for this varsity here in the next year or two.
Talk a little bit about what you got going on there this morning. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule there this morning, because I know you got a gym full of kids down there, don't you?
Yeah. We started our youth basketball league today, this morning from 8 to 10. We had our first practice, registration and practice, and we'll have a couple Saturdays of practices and then a midweek practice with their coach, and then we'll start playing games in January and hopefully get some games up here at some of our home games in January and February. And we got a gym full. We got a lot of really good help. Our high school boys and girls are both in here helping coach, and they'll be helping referee and really helping to pass the fundamentals down to the younger generation, and something that's kind of been missing here the last few years, and it's going really well. Had a lot of positive feedback about it, and just looking forward to getting this going and keeping it lasting. I don't want it to fade out. It's got to continue to go if Fox's basketball is going to move forward in the future.
Well, talk a little bit about the importance of that, Jeremy. Those high school kids, a lot of times they don't realize these kids that they are role models for, and how important it is for them on a Friday or Saturday night to carry themselves with a lot of respect and not do silly or stupid things, because those kind of things really seem to come to the forefront. But now you've got them in there surrounded by a whole gym full of kids that basically idolize these kids. I saw on Facebook last night they had a big thing down at Gallatin County, and Seth Ramsey, this mother put a picture on there, and she was just so happy, said he made her daughter's night. She won a basketball at the drawing, and she wanted Seth Ramsey to sign this basketball, and he signed this basketball for her.
That's good.
Yeah, isn't that neat? I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, of course you're always striving to win postseason games and win conferences and win tournaments, and but you know what? After the year's over, those relationships that you make are really the most important thing, and what you pass on to the student athletes, and how they live their lives moving forward, and did it help them in their life, and did it carry over into their future? That's really the main thing about it. And these kids, you're right. I mean, that's one of the main reasons I wanted to get the students and athletes in here to help, is because I think it helps, the high school kids. I think it helps put responsibility and understanding of it's bigger than just them playing 32 minutes on a Friday night, that there's people looking at them, that they are held to a little higher standard than what some other people are, and hopefully it helps them later on.
Well, talk about your upcoming week. You got a couple home games. You're going to get to come home and play a little bit of basketball at home. You've been Road Warriors also here to start the season, and it'll be nice to be back there at Jerry Sloan Gym, won't it?
Oh yeah, this whole conference season is going to be tough for us. It doesn't matter if we're home or away. There's 5 other really good teams, and but we get started off with Fairfield. I think we kind of left with a little bit of a bad taste in our mouth from last night, even though that was a really good team we played. But the guys know that we could have played better. There's a few things that we can improve upon, and we're looking forward to playing Fairfield on Tuesday. It'll be a tough matchup. They've got some really good guards coming in, and they got some size, and they'll be ready to come down. It's been a long time since the Foxes beat Fairfield. It's been a few years, and this is going to be the night, hopefully, that we can turn that tide and get a W from them.
And then who's coming to town on Friday night?
We've got Carmi Friday at home, and then we're at Eldorado Saturday. And before last night started, 3 of our next 4 games were against undefeated teams.
Yeah.
Edwards County, Carmi, and Eldorado. I think Eldorado got beat.
They got beat last night by Fairfield, 41-40. I guess it was a heck of a ball game down there at Eldorado. We talked with Coach McElravy earlier, and he was just glad to get out of Eldorado with a victory there last night.
That's tough to do, especially undefeated Eldorado team, and they've got a lot of returning players back, and they've got size, and there's size throughout the diamond right now. It seems like everybody's got 2 or 3 6'5" kids on their team, and that's a good win for Fairfield, and it's good for this side of it's good for the east side of the conference. I mean, it's going to be nip and tuck all the way through. It's hard to pick a favorite right now. I mean, Carmine's, Edwards County, they're all in it for the mix. If we get a win Tuesday, then I think that will throw us in it too.
Your team has made some great strides over the season. Like you said, you had a little bad run there in that third quarter last night with some turnovers, and they hit a couple 3 balls, and it just kind of put you behind the 8 ball, and you never could get recovered from that. But basically that was a 2-3-point game most of the game there last night, and I see some things out of your Foxes. Terry Dietrich is really impressing me right now. Looks like one of the biggest factors for him is maybe a little bit of stamina issue with him. He plays so hard he looks like he gets winded a little bit on you, but he gives you a nice presence on that inside.
Yeah, we're really glad that he came out this year, and we've missed him the last year and a half. His freshman year, we really had high hopes for him, and had some things going on where we couldn't play really his sophomore, junior year very much, and he came back out this year, and he'll get back in the swing of it. But man, he is a presence down there. He's strong, and he's got a soft touch, and you add that to Ethan Rapp, and those 2 guys together give us a little size to compete with some of these other schools. So, but you're right. He's getting back into the swing of it as far as basketball shape. He hasn't had to run up and down the court like this in a few years.
No, he done a nice job for the Hamilton County football Foxes, but there's a big difference between football and basketball.
Yeah, I mean, you get a break every once in a while in football. Every play you're getting a little bit of a break, and there's times where you're just up and down, back and forth, and there's no whistle blown, and really what happens there is hopefully one of the referees gets tired and they blow the whistle. Sometimes that's what has to happen for the whistle to blow. And but Terry, he's getting back into it. He's even gotten better from November 11th. So he's a big part of it. We got several guys. I'll tell you,
you got a good bench. You got some kids come off the bench that really help you.
Yeah, and we're searching for that guy right now that's going to help us break that 2-3, Danny. I know you've seen it, and I know we're going to see it over and over and over. We've got to find that guy right now, and that can also step up and play defense, and we'll figure that out. We're gonna have to over this next week because we're gonna see a lot of zone.
I really hated to go on the air and say that, but I thought to myself after last night's game, if I'm playing Hamilton County Foxes, I'm going to play them a 2-3 or a 3-2 zone and see what they can do to me, because it looks like that puts a little pressure on you right now.
Yeah, I mean all our coaches are, in the Diamond and in Southern Illinois, they all scout. They all know what you need to run against teams. Some coaches won't run zone just because they want to run man, but we'll see with the coaches that will switch defenses up. That's what we're going to see, and we know it's going to happen. We've got to adjust to it, and we've got to be able to have some confidence and knock down some shots. And that they're aware. Our team's aware of what teams are going to do to us. And I thought we did a better job last night than we did against AJ. AJ ran that 2-3 against us, and we really struggled against it. And last night we were more patient, and tried to get the ball inside a little more. And we just have to eliminate some of those turnovers in those key situations, and we're right there.
Noah Rapp has to make that 15-foot shot. Put him at the free throw line today, Coach, and let him shoot about 400 shots from there.
Lock him in the gym.
He gave up a lot of good opportunities last night from my perspective. To make that outside shot open up, he's got to take that shot right there.
We moved him in for the first time last night, and it really was just based on our matchups. We didn't have both of our big guys in, and he just, he does have to hit that shot, and then we've got to find someone else on the outside besides Dial that's going to be able to hit a shot, and we've got those guys. They just have to knock them down. They have to be ready and knock them down.
Well, Coach, look forward to seeing you this week at home. It'll be nice to be in Jerry Sloan Gym there, and best of luck, and thank you for your time this morning. I know you got a busy schedule going on there, and we'll let you get back to what you're doing.
Okay, appreciate it, guys. Anytime. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Jeremy. Good luck with those little guys today. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's head coach Jeremy Varner of the Hamilton County Foxes, working with those young ones today, and that's a good thing, too.
Yeah, K through 4th, I think, is in there today.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's where it starts.
Yep.
That's where it starts. All right. Foxes lost last night to the Edwards County Lions 52-44 in Black Diamond Conference play as the Lions remain undefeated. Well, when we come back, Danny, we're going to shift gears. We're going to kind of preview the field of the Eldorado Holiday Tournament. We're going to talk to Athletic Director Greg Goodley of Eldorado coming up next. That'll be fun, won't it?
Should be a good time.
And it should be a very, very balanced lineup this year. We'll do that coming up next. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Real Life Radio thanks Fairfield Printing and Graphics for their partnership in local Christian radio ministry. Fairfield Printing and Graphics offers custom sizing for banners and signs, as well as yard signs, corrugated signs, and metal signs. Fairfield Printing and Graphics also specializes in custom t-shirts, business cards, wedding invitations, hats, bags, and much more. They are located at number 5 Williamson Drive in Fairfield, and their phone number is 842-4048.
Authentic Mexican food is right here close to home at Agave Mexican Restaurant in Mt Vernon. At Agave, you can choose from a large menu of your favorite Mexican dishes, featuring your choice of chicken, beef, fish, shrimp, steak, or pork. If you prefer vegetarian or gluten-free, we cover that as well. Plus, there is a discount for kids on Sunday at Agave. We also have great French fries, burgers, and chicken fingers. At Agave, we have many daily specials on our Facebook page, and our full menu is on our website at agavemexicandining.com, where we are happy to be an underwriting sponsor of The Vine.
B-Way Design and Decorating in Fairfield provides complete design and installation of custom cabinets, flooring, paint, draperies, and interior design services for residential and commercial interiors, along with custom windows, countertops, and decorative accessories. B-Way Design and Decorating is located at 1000 East Main in Fairfield. Their website is bwaydesignllc.com, and their phone number is 842-9216. We are thankful for their underwriting support.
And welcome back to the Sports Couch. You're live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. We have live video streaming at AreaSports.net and, of course, live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. Danny, this is a part of the show that we're looking forward to this morning because we get to talk about the annual Eldorado Holiday Tournament, which will be here before you know it. I think this is going to be the 52nd year, I believe.
Yeah, that's one of the best high school basketball tournaments in the state of Illinois. It's long running down there. And for people that's never experienced it or never been there, I encourage you to go, especially on day number 3, because it's just something that you do not experience in high school basketball anymore.
But you better get there early on day number 3.
If you want to sit down.
Yeah, if you want to sit down. Otherwise, you're standing. For those people who are watching our live video stream right now on AreaSports.net, we've got some pictures up on the screen that we're going to be sharing full screen with you here over our next conversation to show you the inside of what it looks like of that Eldorado Holiday Tournament. And joining us on the phone is the athletic director down at Eldorado, the guy that puts it all together.
He's got the easiest job. Now, wait a minute.
The brain trust.
Now don't give him a lot of credit here because there's a lot of women and people like that behind him. This guy's got the easiest job of the whole tournament right here.
He just delegates. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right. Greg Goodley joins us right now. Good morning, Greg. How are you?
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
We're doing fine.
Thanks for that, Danny. Randy, I appreciate that.
Me and him was just talking about this yesterday. Randy, he just walks around and eats bonbons, harasses the sportscasters. He doesn't really have anything he does. Only this takes about 365 days a year to make this happen.
It's pretty neat how it does, and you're right. It starts the day after the tournament, and it never quits. But it's a fun thing. It's a good experience for everybody, and I think we put a good product out there. We have good teams that come out and they battle every day, and I think the fans enjoy that.
Well, Wednesday's going to be a big day for you, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll have our seed meeting Wednesday. All the coaches get together. We have a nice feed for them, and they get to talk about their teams and their season, and then we get to put the tournament together and eliminate about 2,000 phone calls that I've had wanting to know if the bracket's out yet. So it's getting close.
Well, Coach, really, you're probably not exaggerating on that figure there, because I'm telling you, there's people plan their vacations around this Christmas tournament. We've got our broadcast spot that we normally set in there, and there's some gentlemen that come from St. Louis after the Metro East area, and they sit there in front of me, and they watch this tournament from start to finish, and they said that they do not get to see this kind of atmosphere and experience the quality of games that they see at the Eldorado Holiday Tournament. And they come from St. Louis, they spend the night, and they stay for all 3 days.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat affair, and I think, we're pretty fortunate being our 52nd year to have the following we have, and a lot of it is just tradition. We get a lot of people that's been coming since they were kids. They bring their kids, and they get a taste of it, get just as much social as it is watching the basketball games. We have people that sit by each other for 20 years, and they look forward to that 3 days where they can argue about who's going to win each game. So yeah. It's a pretty good deal.
You've got the experience as a player, and I have too. And I talked to some of the coaches. Edwards County coach Russ Gerlach, we talked to them a couple weeks ago on the show, and they are very, very excited about the opportunity to join this tournament. And he asked me, he said, well, what's one of your fondest memories? I said, being down there in the tunnel in the chute, and the band starts playing and the people are standing up and cheering, and when you come out on that floor, it's just nothing that you can experience. You can't really relate it to people, can you?
No, and you think you know what it feels like until you run out of there as a kid and you see all those people. And you finally, you get a feeling of what big-time college basketball like. It's a great atmosphere. Every coach that's played in the tournament, that's one thing they always talk about. I want my kids to be able to experience that feeling. It's a little different. You realize you're not in Kansas anymore when you run out of that tunnel. So it's a pretty neat experience.
Well, the guy sitting right here beside me a few years ago, I invited him to come down and do some games with me, and he was just amazed. I mean, he had been to the Centralia tournament and experienced some of that 3A basketball, and he just absolutely has fallen in love with the Eldorado Holiday Tournament.
Absolutely. It's great. In fact, up on the screen right now, Greg, what we have up on the screen for those people who are watching our live video stream at AreaSports.net is we've got a full-screen shot right now of Dakota Young making that three-point shot a couple of years ago down at the tournament for Fairfield. The boy who lost his leg, and again, there's 3,000 fans there, and they're all standing and cheering, and that was one of those moments that sent chills up your spine, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's an awesome thing. Number one, for him to overcome what he's had to overcome, and then to get the opportunity to do what he did, and then have every fan in the gym acknowledge that accomplishment. That's what high school sports is about, and I think our fans do a good job of that. Even though they pull for their team, they root for people that play well from any team, and that's part of the atmosphere.
Well, the field this year seems to be like it may be the most balanced field you've had in a while. Why don't you hit on a few of the teams that are coming in there and some of your expectations?
Yeah, Coach Bradley and myself, we've been talking about this morning. Heron, Edwards County, Vienna are the three new additions to the tournament. They've all been in the tournament in the past, so they. Even though I think Edwards County, Vienna, it's been quite a few years since they've been in. Heron's been in recent, but they're all bringing in really good teams. I think Heron, Eldorado, Fairfield, Carmi, Edwards County, Vienna. I think Massac had some tough games, but I think they're always going to play tough in the tournament. Harrisburg's going to play well. Anna Jonesboro plays well in the tournament. And I probably missed some there, but it should be a very balanced tournament from day one. I think North City's coming in with a team that's been putting up a lot of points, so they're going to add some excitement. So I think from day one to day three, I think you're going to get your money's worth.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have the opportunity to be able to come down. We'll be carrying these games live once again this year. My wife has passed her issues, and so we're going to be able to come back. I missed last year probably for the first time in 40 years.
Yeah, I know. I missed you too. I look forward to walking up them stairs and you give me a hard time. So I'm glad to have you back. And we was talking too. McLeansboro's bringing a team in it's improved from a year ago. It just adds to the tournament. I mean, Gallatin County plays well.
There's nobody travels any better than that orange flock.
Yeah, and they know their seats. They've sat in those seats for many years, so they make sure they show up. As it's just it's really a great 3 days, and when you add the basketball into it with the social aspect and the excitement we get, and I get to see a lot of people that like to rib me about Eldorado, and one of them Danny. So it's a good thing. It really humbles everybody, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it can be a humbling experience for both of us sometimes. He got me a couple years ago, Randy, or he thought he got me. But it just amazes me. There was, we had some kind of a little deal going, and anyway, the loser had to wear a shirt. Well, I ended up having to wear a shirt that said Eagle Pride on it. And how Brandon Hampton, come to find out, he's the guy behind this.
Yeah.
He got this thing there to the gym in like 45 seconds. And they really thought they had me. But on top of the lid, I had my Foxes #1 hat on. They thought they had me, but the Foxes were still on top.
You tried to outsmart them then, huh?
But we have a really good time. And I tell you, not only do you have a great turnout there, but the year before last when we covered that tournament basically wire to wire, we had 15,000 viewers on the internet view the Eldorado Holiday Tournament. So
combined, yeah.
It's just not people that come to there. Matter of fact, I had a former Eldorado alumni lives in Michigan right now, and Eldorado was playing like the 10:30 game, and I thought, man, I'm not going to stay and do this 10:30 game. And this lady just begged me to stay and do this game, and I did it for her. I stayed and did it just because she wanted to see it, and we became friends over it, and she sends me a thank you card. Matter of fact, I got a note in the mail from her this week wanting to know if I'm going to be able to be there carrying the tournament this year, and she's really looking forward to it.
That's great.
Yeah,
awesome.
it's an awesome thing. I get phone calls from people just like Danny gets stuff that, hey, we're not going to be able to make the tournament this year, but could we get a program so we could just keep up with it and try to follow things on the internet and try to know the kids. So whether they're here or they're at home, I think we've got a great situation where we allow people to watch a really good high school tournament, and it's just a big plus to have everybody involved. And Danny and Randy and everybody's a part of that, and I'm very thankful as an athletic director to be able to provide that service.
Well, Greg, walk us through exactly what will happen on Wednesday with the seed meeting, and tell us, the steps that you go through to try to determine who those top 8 seeds are. I think people, want to know.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. The coaches all get a chance to lobby, so they're going to talk about their team. They're going to talk about the teams that they've played. They're going to talk about where they think that they fit. And as we go through all 16 teams, coaches can write notes as fast as anybody you've ever seen. They'll have 10 pages of notes on every team and who they've played. Once that's all done, I'll give them a little time to kind of go through their notes. Then they'll go through and rate every team, 1 through 16. Once we get those ratings in at the meeting, we always tell them who the top 4 is. We come back and kind of go through the rating sheets. We try to stay away from a first-round matchup as somebody who's just played like the week before, if that's all possible. So, if a number 9 seed and a number 10 seed, if we have to maneuver one, to stay away from a team who's just played a week before the tournament, or we can do that, just to give them, everybody wants to play somebody different. So basically try to stay pretty close to the seeds, and then it all writes down on paper and we send it out. And then, as most coaches are, they're never happy with who's in their bracket. but just like the NCAA tournament, sometimes when it's out on paper, we've got to go play and we've got to win. So it doesn't matter who we have. So it's a really neat experience to listen to the coaches talk. It's kind of neat for me being around it so long. I see guys who I coached against that are now coaching, and they're trying to regain some of that same feelings they had as when they were players. But it's a really good day. The coaches are pretty quick with it. We're in and out of there in about 2 hours, and then it's time for business.
Well, Greg's sitting here reminiscing just a little bit, thinking about this. Now, this has to be quite a debate issue. You got veteran Randy Smith-Peters and Joe Hosman. Now, I can just see those two right there lobbying for their teams. I don't see how this is a short session at all.
Well, they're pretty to the point, and they've been around. And what's nice about it is coaches, when they get in that meeting, they'll tell people, we've played very good and we've only won this many games. They don't try to hide it because they know that everybody's watched film on everybody, and you can't sell somebody a Volkswagen, and tell them it's a Corvette. So it's pretty cut and dry. They have a good idea going into the meeting, but the older coaches, they're not afraid to get to the point.
I guess off the top of your head, you told me yesterday not to put you on the spot, but I'm gonna do it on there to you anyway. Is there any college impact players that you can think of right now that people might want to keep an eye on? Because the reason I ask that question is I know that there will be a lot of college scouts and a lot of junior college scouts in the stands, because there's no better place for them to come and watch so much talent in one venue. And I just wondered off the top of your head if you knew of any kids that are being recruited or anything like that, Greg.
I haven't had anybody straight up, tell me that. I've had some college coaches say they're interested, in some players that are in the tournament and they want to see how they act or interact in that kind of situation. I think the Ethan Partridge from Eldorado is a senior, and he's kind of been looked at. I think Salisbury from Harrisburg has been looked at a little bit from some people. We lost our MVP from last year at Massac. He got a baseball scholarship, chose not to play this year. So, you know, there was a really good athlete that's not going to be back in the tournament, and I know that Joe Hossman's has not had a good feeling about him not playing. But, you know, I think overall last year we had 25 different college coaches come in and watch the tournament, and they said, you know, hey, we'll be back this year.
Yeah.
So
I knew, and that's what I wanted to lead to. I wanted people to realize how important this tournament is and what it means, not only now to kids, but when you talk about giving an opportunity to get a college education played for, to continue doing what they love to do. This tournament has some major impacts on young lives, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, and it's, you know, and they're pretty discreet about it. They call me and ask me, you know, can we get a bracket? And they say we're going to come in and we're just going to be in plain clothes, probably have a hat on, and just kind of blend in and watch players. You know, and those players don't even know that they're here, and they may find somebody who's not, you know, not that big all-star player, but a guy who does his role and plays, and they're like, he can fit in for us. And eventually, you know, that gives that young man an opportunity to get some school paid for and a chance to keep playing basketball. And we all know someday somebody's going to tell us we can't play no more, but, you know, you want to go as long as you can. And if it can pay for a little school, then that's great. And being able to come here and watch 26 games with 16 teams, it lets coaches evaluate kids without ever having to travel to one spot, watch games, and they've got pretty good notes on them.
Well, you know, they can watch them over the course of 3 days there. The teams that win and keep going, they get to see them play in 4 different games. They get to see them perform under more pressure every day, because every time you win, it gets a little tougher, and the crowds get a little bigger. And you're right, they get to see them in a lot of game situations and see how they react and how they fit in as young men. And there's a lot of things told behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's you know, and I don't know if people understand that there's really that much interest from, you know, that we're pretty fortunate in our area. We have quite a few junior colleges.
Yes.
We have some you know, SIU, USI that are close, Evansville. So we pull some guys in that will come watch a game. And, you know, it's kind of funny. The other night I turned on TV and I'm watching Mississippi State play, and the tall, lanky boy from Owensboro, he's playing basketball for them and playing a lot of minutes. You know, and I'm like, well, there's one of our guys who played in our tournament. Mm-hmm. So, you know, they pop up.
Yeah, you know, when you look back over the course of the Eldorado Holiday Tournament, all the talent that has succeeded there, but not only that, usually the top 2 or 3 teams of the Eldorado Holiday Tournament make a pretty deep run in postseason, and a lot of times the winner of this tournament represents Southern Illinois down there at the SIU Arena at that super sectional game.
Oh yeah, and it's you know, it's just that you get a chance to see how your kids are going to react in this atmosphere, and when you get into postseason, we all know the atmosphere is going to be pretty electric, and it just lets your kids experience it, and it gives you something to reference as the season goes on. And you know, and going back to what we were talking about before, you know, we have college baseball coaches and college football coaches that come watch these kids in the tournament that might not be a basketball player in college, but might be going to play football or baseball, and they can evaluate their competitiveness and character. So, you know, that's a realm that people don't even think about. You know, a football coach is going to come watch a kid play basketball. It's pretty neat. It's a great 3 days. A little busy, but it's a great 3 days.
I'll agree with the little bit busy. I've been lobbying for him, Randy, to build us a room to stay in down there while we're down there, and so far I haven't had enough stroke to get that done. But it makes for some awful late nights and some awful short mornings.
Well, before we do that, I'm gonna buy me a Segway, so I don't have to walk so many steps.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I would almost pay to see this happen.
You never know. You look up, you may see me going around the top on a hoverboard.
That would be funny. That'd be funny. Well, Greg, we could talk to you a lot longer, but we're about out of time. But we appreciate your time this morning and giving us a little insight on how this is all put together at the Eldorado Holiday Tournament. It's definitely a labor of love on your part, I believe. And
I tell you another thing, Randy, the cleanliness of this place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know Greg appreciates it and knows what it means, but I don't know if the common fan knows what between sessions. I mean, he's got a crew of people in there, and they get this thing cleaned up, trash picked up, thrown away, floors mopped.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Luckily, being a media, we don't have to clear the gym, and I get to see the site. But those people deserve a strong pat on the back, the police force. And I'll tell you another group of people that we haven't mentioned here this morning is officials. There's officials that show there every year. Greg's got to be very pleased with the guys that come. But those guys will come there and they'll referee a game, and they'll go to another one of these tournaments, and then they may be back for games later on that night. And kudos to those guys for what they do also.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, those guys help us out, and we're very fortunate because everybody we have in the tournament is somebody that is certified as an official that's going to do a regional, sectional, or a state final. So it gives coaches a chance to do games with those guys that they're going to see later down the road.
Yeah, that's important too. It really is. Yeah, another feather in your cap there. Well, Greg, thanks so much for your time this morning. Appreciate it. It's always fun to talk to you about the holiday tournament, and we certainly look forward to that taking place right after Christmas. And can't wait to see the results of your seed meeting after Wednesday too.
Well, thank you, and we appreciate your support and you being a part of the tournament. And we appreciate the fans that come to the tournaments, because without them, it wouldn't be what it is. So kudos to them. They make this the best tournament in the area, and we look forward to a good 3 days, and we hope everybody has a good time.
All right, and then your brackets will be released, you think, when?
They should be released Wednesday afternoon.
Wednesday afternoon after the seed meeting, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they'll be on our school webpage, and people can start getting their pools together, because that's what's going to happen.
All right. Excellent. All right. Appreciate it. Thanks, Greg. Have a good weekend, all right?
You too.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy.
All righty. Bye-bye. Athletic Director Greg Goodley from Eldorado, and what a job they do, and the number of volunteers they have. And you hit on something really, really good there, Danny, because there's so many people behind the scenes that make that happen, and I don't think people have any idea.
They don't have a clue, Randy, of the people. Like I said, the people that get people parked, the people that clean the facility, the women that work that hospitality room, and all the donors that donate food and beverages for that hospitality room. I'm telling you, it's like feeding the Fifth Army over there.
Yeah. And, some years, not every year, but some years, there'll be a big snowfall happen, too. And then you've got snow removal
on
top of everything else. And so you have to have a whole nother group of people to come in and take care of that.
And not only that, then you have to get with all these teams and all these people. I'm telling you, I give Greg a bad time. We've grown up together. We've competed against each other. We still compete against each other to see who's going to get the last jab in.
Yeah, right.
But what he has to do, being the athletic director for this tournament, there's nothing more than any of these athletic directors that run these tournaments than a snowfall over Christmas break. It can really throw havoc into this.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, with the officials, you got officials that are here today, go to Christopher, come back, or go somewhere else and come back. And if one team gets a kink in the wheel, it really throws havoc in that deal.
Yeah. All right, so Wednesday's the seed meeting. Pairings will be out Wednesday afternoon. That'll be fun to see how it all comes together for the 52nd annual Eldorado Holiday Tournament. We're out of time, Danny.
We're overtime.
We're overtime. We better get out of here. All right. It's been fun, though. Appreciate all the guests.
And this afternoon we're going to be when?
We will have a 3 o'clock game and a 4:30 game today from the Conrad Allen Holiday Tournament. Both Weber Township will be in action at the 3 o'clock game, and the host Wayne City Indians will be in action in the 4:30 game today from the Conrad Allen Tournament. We'll have that this afternoon on AreaSports.net.
Should be a fun time. Looking forward to that new facility. I've not been in there.
Oh, it's wonderful. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. And you know what? I've already found the hospitality room.
I can't imagine.
Can you imagine that? I've already found it. I'll show you where it's at today, all right? See you next time, everybody, for the Sports Couch at 8:30. Have a great weekend.
This is your home for best Christian music.
WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting at 105.5.
A service of Real Life Radio Foundation.
The best Christian music. 90.9 The Vine.
What is this news? The angels are hailing a king. The imminent truth, the final redeemer.